There was a time in Lena's life when everything looked fine from the outside. She had a good job, a clean apartment in the city, a phone full of contacts, a calendar full of meetings, and a smile she had practiced so often that even she could no longer tell when it was real. People said she was doing well, but every morning, when the alarm rang before sunrise, there was a heaviness inside her chest that no amount of coffee could lift. She did not hate her life. That was the strange part. She simply could not feel it anymore. She moved through each day like someone carrying invisible stones, emails, deadlines, bills, messages, expectations. So many expectations. Her boss wanted more. Her family wanted certainty. Her friends wanted energy. The world wanted speed. And deep down, a small forgotten voice inside her wanted one simple thing: to breathe. But Lena had become a master at postponing herself. I'll rest after this project. I'll feel better after I earn more. I'll be happy once things settle down. I'll heal. Later became next month. Next month became next year. And next year became a life she barely recognized. At night, she lay in bed scrolling through other people's joy. People traveling, people getting married, people building businesses, people smiling under perfect light with captions about gratitude and purpose. And though she knew those images were only fragments, they still pierced her. Why does everyone else seem to know how to live? Why does peace look so easy on other people? Why am I always tired, even when I do nothing? Why do I feel alone, even when people surround me? One night, after another long day of pretending to be okay, Lena sat on the floor of her apartment and cried. Not the graceful kind of crying people show in films. Not the quiet tear rolling down a calm face. This was the kind of crying that came from years of holding too much. The kind that bent the body forward. The kind that made the chest ache. The kind that said, without words, I cannot carry this version of myself any longer. She did not even know exactly what she was grieving. Maybe it was the person she used to be. Maybe it was the person she thought she should have become. Maybe it was all the love she had given away while forgetting to keep any for herself. Her phone buzzed beside her. A message from work. Then another. Then a promotional notification. Then a social media reminder. Then another message asking if she was free this weekend. For the first time in years, Lena did something small but radical. She turned off her phone. The silence that followed felt unfamiliar, almost frightening. She sat there on the floor, listening to the hum of the refrigerator, the distant sound of traffic, the beating of her own heart. And in that silence, a memory returned to her. When she was a child, her grandmother used to tell her, when the water is muddy, do not stir it, let it settle. At the time, Lena thought it was only advice about patience. Now, sitting in the wreckage of her exhaustion, it felt like something else. It felt like truth. The next morning, instead of rushing to get ready, she called in sick. She had never done that for her soul before. Only 4 fevers, only 4 visible pain, only 4 things the world respected. But this felt like an emergency of another kind. So she stayed home. At first, rest felt uncomfortable, without constant noise. Her mind grew louder. Old conversations replayed themselves. Regret surfaced. Fear rose like smoke. What if I fall behind? What if they think I'm weak? What if I lose everything I worked for? What if I stop moving and discover there is nothing beneath me? She tried to sit still, but stillness was not peaceful at first. Stillness was confrontation. By afternoon, the apartment felt too small to hold her thoughts, so she left and walked without direction. The city was loud as always. Motorbikes, horns, street vendors, conversations, construction noise. Yet for some reason, she kept walking until the streets grew quieter. Soon she found herself in an older part of the city she had not visited in years. There, tucked between weathered buildings and banyan trees, stood a small temple. It was nothing like the polished places tourists like to photograph. Its walls were faded. Its steps were uneven. The roof was old and darkened by rain and time. But something about it felt alive. Not loud, not dramatic, just deeply still. At the entrance, Incense drifted slowly into the air. Lena hesitated. She was not especially religious. She had visited temples before, mostly on holidays or with family. She respected these places, but she did not know if she belonged there with her messy thoughts, tired face, and aching heart. Still, something inside her whispered, "Enter quietly." So she did. Inside, the temple was cool and dim. A few candles flickered. A bell rang somewhere far back. The scent of wood, incense, and old stone wrapped gently around her. In the main hall sat a Buddha statue. Serene and silent, Lena stood before it, unsure what to do. She did not have a formal prayer. She did not know the right words. She had no noble offering. Only exhaustion, only confusion, only the hope that maybe, just maybe, silence might know what to do with pain when language could not. She sat on a wooden bench near the side wall. Minutes passed, then more. For once, no one asked anything of her. No one needed a reply. No one measured her worth. No one cared whether she had achieved enough by her age. She watched a thin line of sunlight move across the floor. She listened to the wind touch the leaves outside, and gradually, almost imperceptibly, something inside her stopped running. Not healed, not fixed, but paused. A soft sound interrupted the silence. A broom brushing the floor. An elderly monk was sweeping the courtyard, just beyond the open doorway. His robes were simple. His movements were unhurried. He swept not like someone finishing a task, but like someone fully inside each moment. Lena watched him for a while. There was no frustration in his face, no rush, no performance. Just presence. Eventually, he looked up and noticed her. He smiled, the way some people smile when they have nothing to prove. Not a smile to impress, not a smile to comfort too quickly, just a quiet acknowledgement that said, "I see you, and you do not need to explain yourself yet." He set the broom aside and walked toward her. "You have a tired mind," he said gently. Lena almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because the truth of it landed so cleanly. "Yes," she said, "I think I do." The monk nodded and sat on the step near the doorway, leaving enough distance so she would not feel crowded. "A tired body can sleep," he said. "A tired mind keeps running even in bed." Lena looked down at her hands. "I don't know how to stop it." He was quiet for a moment. Then he asked, "What is it chasing?" The question caught her off guard. She opened her mouth to answer, but nothing came immediately. What was it chasing? Success, approval, safety, love. The version of herself that never failed. The fantasy that if she did everything right, she would finally become untouchable by pain. "I don't know," she whispered. The monk nodded as if that answer was enough. "Many people do not suffer because life is hard," he said. "They suffer because they are trying to hold life in a shape that does not stay." Lena looked at him. He continued, "They chase certainty in a changing world. They chase permanence in temporary things. They chase approval from minds that are also confused. They chase peace as if peace is waiting at the end of achievement." He picked up a dry leaf from the floor beside him. "When the leaf falls," he said, "it does not ask the tree for permission. When the rain comes, it does not apologize to the earth. Life moves. It changes, it leaves, it returns. But the human mind says, 'No, stay the way I want.' And from that refusal, suffering grows." Lena felt tears gathering in her eyes again, because she understood, not with logic alone, but with that deeper recognition that happens when someone touches the wound beneath all the symptoms. She had spent years trying to control what could not be controlled, trying to keep everyone happy, trying to avoid disappointment, trying to become worthy enough to deserve rest, trying to predict loss before it arrived, trying to outrun pain by becoming useful, impressive, and needed. And yet the more she chased control, the less peaceful she became. "What should I do?" she asked quietly. The monk smiled, but there was sadness in it too, as if he had heard this question from many hearts across many years. "First," he said, "stop asking how to win against your life." She frowned slightly. He continued, "You were treating your days like enemies to conquer, your mind like a machine to force. your pain like a weakness to hide. But healing does not come through violence towards yourself. Those words entered her slowly. Healing does not come through violence towards yourself. She repeated them. Silently, the monk rose and motioned for her to follow him into the courtyard. There was a stone basin there filled with still water. A few lotus leaves floated at the surface. He pointed to the water. Look, she did at first. She saw only her own reflection, slightly blurred. Then he touched the surface lightly with one finger. Ripples spread in widening circles. When the mind is disturbed, he said, it cannot reflect clearly, not because reflection is impossible, but because agitation has covered it. He waited until the water settled again. Then he asked, did the water need to become something else to be clear? Lena shook her head. No, it only needed stillness. He let the lesson rest between them. For the first time in a long while, Lena did not feel like someone was trying to fix her with clever advice. He was not telling her to optimize her routine. He was not giving her a 5-step formula for happiness. He was not offering quick motivation dressed as wisdom. He was reminding her of something quieter. That beneath all the noise, there was still a place within her that had not been broken, only disturbed. They sat in the courtyard for a while. Birds moved between branches overhead. A breeze shifted the incense smoke. Somewhere beyond the walls, the city continued its restless spinning. Then Lena asked, but if I stop chasing, won't everything fall apart? The monk looked at her with great tenderness. Some things may fall apart, he said, but not everything that falls apart is a tragedy. Sometimes what falls apart is the prison. She felt that sentence in her chest, because if she was honest, much of her life had been built around fear. Fear of not being enough, fear of being left behind, fear of disappointing people, fear of slowing down, fear of feeling what she had buried, and the structures she built from that fear: constant busyness, perfectionism, emotional numbness, endless comparison had begun to look less like success and more like a cage. The monk reached for the broom again. Come back tomorrow, he said, if you wish. That was all. No sermon, no pressure, no promise. Just an invitation. Lena stood, bowed slightly, and left the temple. The city looked the same as before. Same traffic, same noise, same unfinished problems waiting for her. But something subtle had shifted. For the first time in years, she did not feel the urgent need to solve her entire life before sunset. That evening, she went home and left her phone on the table. She made tea. She sat by the window without music, without television, without scrolling. Her mind still wandered, still worried, still tried to rehearse tomorrow. But every time she noticed it running, she remembered the stone basin. The water does not need to become something else. It only needs stillness. So she took one breath, then another. The next morning, she returned to the temple. And that was the beginning. Not the beginning of a perfect life. Not the beginning of instant peace. Not the beginning of becoming someone entirely new. It was the beginning of something more honest. The beginning of meeting herself without running. The beginning of letting pain speak before silencing it. The beginning of understanding that healing is not a performance for the world. It is a quiet return. And sometimes, that return begins the moment you finally become too tired to keep abandoning yourself. The next morning, Lena arrived at the temple earlier than before. The air was still cool. The sky was pale, not yet fully awake. There was a softness in the world that only existed before the day began demanding things. She stepped inside quietly. The monk was already there, sweeping the courtyard again. The same slow, deliberate movements, the same quiet presence. For a moment, Lena simply stood and watched. Yesterday, she had seen a man sweeping leaves. Today, she began to notice something deeper. He was not trying to finish. He was not rushing to be done. Each movement was complete in itself, not leading somewhere, not escaping something, just happening. The monk noticed her and gave a small nod. You came back, he said. Lena smiled faintly. I didn't know where else to go, he chuckled softly. Sometimes not knowing where to go is the beginning of going somewhere real. They sat together near the courtyard. For a while, neither of them spoke. And this time, the silence did not feel uncomfortable. It felt spacious. Like a room inside her had been opened. After a few minutes, Lena said quietly, "My mind is still loud." The monk nodded. "It will be." He looked at her, not with judgment, but with clarity. "You have trained your mind for many years to run. You cannot expect it to become still in one day." Lena let out a small breath. "I thought coming here would make everything peaceful." The monk smiled. "Many people come to quiet places, expecting silence to erase their noise. But silence does not erase, it reveals." Lena felt that. Because even here, even in this calm temple, her thoughts still followed her. The unfinished emails, the expectations waiting outside, the fear of going back. "Then what should I do with all this noise?" she asked. The monk picked up a fallen leaf and placed it gently in her hand. "Do not fight it," he said, "and do not follow it." She looked at the leaf. "I don't understand." He leaned slightly forward. "When a thought arises, most people do one of two things. They chase it, or they resist it." He drew a small circle on the ground with his finger. "When you chase a thought, you enter the circle. When you resist it, you push against the circle. But either way, you remain inside it." He paused. "Freedom begins when you step outside the circle." Lena stared at the drawing. "How do I step outside?" He looked at her calmly. "By seeing the thought as a thought, not as truth, not as identity, not as something that must be solved immediately, just a thought." Lena felt something shift slightly inside her. It sounded simple, almost as simple, but something about it felt real. "Close your eyes," the monk said gently. She did. "Now, notice your breath." At first, it felt awkward. She wasn't used to paying attention to something so ordinary. "Inhale, exhale." Her mind quickly tried to interrupt. "This is pointless. You should be doing something productive. You're wasting time." She almost opened her eyes, but the monk's voice came softly. "Do you see the thought?" She nodded. "Yes, good," he said. "Now let it pass." She tried. The thought didn't disappear immediately, but instead of grabbing it, she watched it, like a cloud drifting across the sky. Slowly, it moved. Then another thought came. "What if this doesn't work?" Again. She noticed it. Again. She let it pass. For a few brief moments, there was space. Not silence, but space. When she opened her eyes, the world looked the same, and yet, something inside her felt slightly less crowded. "That space," the monk said, "is always there." Lena blinked. "It didn't feel like it before," he nodded. "Because you were standing inside every thought that appeared." She let that sink in. All those years, all those worries, all those stories she told herself she had believed, every one of them. And in doing so, she had lived inside them. The monk stood and walked toward a tree in the courtyard. He touched its trunk lightly. "This tree," he said, "does not chase the wind, and it does not resist the wind." Lena watched him. "It stands," he continued, "and allows the wind to pass through." He looked back at her. "You can live like this too." Something inside Lena softened. For so long, she had tried to control everything. Control outcomes, control people, control how she felt, control how she appeared. And it had exhausted her. "What if I lose everything if I stop controlling?" she asked. The monk smiled gently. "You were already losing yourself by trying to control everything." That hit deeper than she expected, because it was true. She had lost her rest, her joy, her presence, her connection to herself. In trying to secure her life, she had abandoned living it. They sat again. Time passed slowly. No rush, no pressure. Just breath, just awareness. After a while, Lena spoke again. "I'm afraid to go back," she admitted, "to my job, my life, everything." The monk listened carefully. "Why?" he asked. She hesitated. "Because I don't know how to live differently there." The monk nodded. "This place is not special," he said. Lena looked around, confused. "But it feels different," he smiled. "It feels different because you are paying attention here." He pointed gently toward her chest. "The temple is not outside. It is your awareness. Lena felt a quiet realization. So it's not about escaping life. It's about changing how I meet it. The monk continued. If you can breathe here, you can breathe anywhere. If you can observe your mind here, you can observe it in the city. He paused. The world does not need you to run. Only your habits do. That line stayed with her because it was true. The pressure she felt wasn't always coming from outside. Much of it was inside. Her conditioned, learned, repeated. Stay. For a while, the monk said. Not forever. Just long enough to see clearly. So Lena stayed. Not 4 weeks. Not 4 months. Just for a few days. Each morning, she returned. Each day, she sat. At first, her mind still wandered constantly, but slowly, she began to notice more. The way thoughts rose and fell. The way emotions came and went. The way the body held tension. She noticed how often she judged herself, how often she rushed, how often she compared. And instead of fighting these things, she watched them. Gently. Without punishment, without force. One afternoon, as she sat quietly, something unexpected happened. There was no dramatic moment, no sudden enlightenment, no overwhelming emotion. Just stillness. A deep, quiet stillness. For a few breaths. There was no need to become anything. No need to fix anything. No need to chase anything. Just being. And in that simple being, there was peace. Not because everything was solved, but because, for that moment, nothing needed to be solved. Tears rolled down her face. Not from sadness, but from relief. The kind of relief that comes when you realize you don't have to carry everything all the time. That evening, she spoke to the monk again. I felt something today, she said. He nodded. And what was it? She searched for words. Nothing. And everything at the same time. He smiled. Yes. She looked at him. Will it stay? He shook his head gently. No. Her heart sank slightly. But you will remember the way back. That comforted her. Because for the first time, peace didn't feel like something she had to chase. It felt like something she could return to. Over the next few days, Lena began to understand something deeper. Healing was not about becoming a different person. It was about stopping the constant effort to escape herself. It was about meeting her thoughts without drowning in them, meeting her emotions without rejecting them, meeting her life without trying to control every outcome. One morning, she stood at the entrance of the temple. She knew it was time to go back, not because she was fully healed, but because she was ready to live differently. The monk stood beside her. Are you afraid? He asked. A little, she said. He nodded. That is natural. She looked at him. What if I forget everything? He smiled. You will. She blinked. But then you will remember again. He placed his hand gently over his heart. Awareness is not something you lose. It is something you return to. Lena took a deep breath. The city waited for her outside. The same noise. The same responsibilities, the same unfinished life, but she was not the same. Not completely different, but not the same. She stepped out of the temple. And for the first time in a long time, she was not rushing. When Lena returned to the city, nothing had changed. The traffic was still loud. The streets were still crowded. People still rushed past each other without looking. Her phone lit up the moment she turned it back on. Messages, emails, missed calls, deadlines waiting like silent pressure. For a brief moment, the old feeling returned. That tightening in her chest, that quiet panic, that urge to catch up, to respond, to prove she was still in control. Her thumb hovered over the screen. The familiar habit whispered, hurry, answer everything, fix everything, don't fall behind. But then, she paused. Just for a second. She remembered the stone basin. The water does not need to become something else. It only needs stillness. So instead of rushing, she took one breath, then another. The world did not collapse. No one shouted. Nothing broke. The sky did not fall. And in that small moment, Lena realized something important. The urgency she felt was not always real. It was learned. Conditioned. Repeated so many times that it felt like truth. She put her phone down. Not forever. Just long enough to meet herself again before meeting the world. That day, She returned to work. Her co-workers greeted her casually. "Hey, you okay? You were gone for a few days. We needed you for the meeting." The old Lena would have apologized immediately, explained everything, justified her absence, made sure everyone felt comfortable. But this time, she simply said, "I needed a break." And she meant it. There was no guilt in her voice. No need to over-explain, just a quiet honesty. Her co-workers nodded and moved on, and Lena noticed something surprising. The world did not punish her for taking care of herself. Her desk looked exactly the same. Paper stacked, screen glowing, tasks waiting. But she sat down differently. Not with tension. Not with urgency. With awareness. She opened her email. Messages filled the screen. Old Lena would have reacted instantly, scrolling fast, heart racing, trying to clear everything at once. New Lena did something small. She read one email, just one. Fully. Then she replied. Then the next. Not fast, not slow. Just present. At first, it felt unnatural. Her mind kept pulling her forward. Hurry, do more, you're too slow, you're falling behind. But she noticed the thoughts, and instead of obeying them, she let them pass, like clouds. By the afternoon, something subtle had changed. She had done less than she usually would, but she felt less exhausted, because she was no longer fighting her own mind while working. She was working with it. Days passed. Lena did not become perfectly calm. Some mornings, anxiety returned. Some days, pressure felt overwhelming again. Old patterns did not disappear overnight. They visited. Often. But now, she recognized them. And that changed everything. One evening, after a long day, Lena sat alone in her apartment. The silence returned, but this time, it did not feel empty. It felt like space. Her mind began to replay a conversation from work. "You didn't do enough today. You could have done more. You're falling behind again." The voice was familiar. The old judge, the old pressure. But instead of believing it immediately, she asked quietly, "Is that true?" The thought hesitated, not because it disappeared, but because it was being seen. For the first time in years, she was not automatically believing everything she thought. She stood up and walked to the window. The city lights flickered in the distance. People were still moving, still chasing, still searching, just like she had been. And maybe still was, in some ways. But something had shifted. She no longer believed that peace was waiting at the end of success. She no longer believed that rest had to be earned through exhaustion. She no longer believed that her worth was measured by how much she could carry. The next day, something unexpected happened. At work, her boss approached her. "We need to talk," he said. Her body reacted immediately. Tension, fear, anticipation. The old Lena would have spiraled instantly. What did I do wrong? Am I in trouble? Did I mess something up? But this time, she noticed the reaction. She did not push it away. She did not feed it either. She simply felt it. And breathed. Inside the meeting room, her boss spoke. "We've noticed your performance has changed," he said. There it was, the moment she had feared. Her heart beat faster, but she stayed present. "What do you mean?" she asked calmly. He looked at her. "You're slower." A pause, and more focused. She blinked. He continued. "You're making fewer mistakes." That surprised her. "And your communication is clearer." Another pause. "But we need to know what changed." Lena took a breath. She could have explained everything: the temple, the monk, the silence, the realization. But instead, she said something simple. "I stopped rushing." Her boss looked at her for a moment, then nodded. "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." When she left the room, Lena almost smiled, not because she needed validation, but because she saw something clearly. She had spent years believing that speed equals success. That pressure equals productivity, that exhaustion equals effort, but none of it was entirely true. Presence was more powerful than urgency. That night, Lena returned to the temple, not because she needed to escape, but because she wanted to return. The monk was there, As always, sweeping. She sat beside him. I went back, she said. He nodded. And she smiled slightly. It's still the same world. He chuckled. Yes, but I'm not exactly the same, she added. He looked at her. That is enough, she told him about work. About the meeting, about the fear that came and passed. The monk listened quietly. Then he said, you were beginning to see. See what? She asked. That peace is not found by changing your life completely, he said. It is found by changing how you meet your life. They sat in silence again. The kind of silence that no longer needed to be filled. After a while, Lena asked, will I ever stop feeling anxious? The monk shook his head gently. No. Her heart dropped slightly. But you will stop being afraid of it. That felt different, because anxiety was not the real problem. Her fear of it was. The monk stood and pointed toward the sky. Clouds moved slowly across the fading light. Thoughts are like clouds, he said. Emotions are like weather. He looked at her. But you, he paused, are the sky. Lena felt something open inside her. Because for the first time, she was not identifying with every storm that passed through her. She was something wider. Something still. Something that did not need to chase or resist. That night, as she walked home, Lena felt something unfamiliar. Not excitement, not perfection, not constant happiness. Something quieter, something deeper. She felt enough, not because her life was perfect, but because she was no longer abandoning herself inside it. And for the first time, that was enough. For a while, Lena believed she had found balance. Not perfect balance, but enough to breathe. She worked. She rested. She noticed her thoughts. She returned to herself when she drifted. Life was still life. Unpredictable, messy, unfinished. But she was no longer constantly fighting it. And then, life changed again. It started with a phone call. Late at night. Her phone rang while she was making tea. Unknown number. She hesitated. Something inside her tightened. Then she answered. A voice on the other end. Calm, professional, too calm. There's been an accident. Time slowed. Her body froze. The words came, but they felt distant. Her father, hospital, serious condition. For a moment, everything she had learned, everything she had practiced, felt like it disappeared. Her breath became shallow. Her chest tightened. Her thoughts raced. No, this can't be happening. Why now? What do I do? Fear flooded her completely. Not gentle, not manageable. Raw. Overwhelming. Real. She grabbed her things and rushed out. The city lights blurred as she moved. The sounds felt distant. Everything inside her screamed, fix this, stop this, control this. But she couldn't. And that was the hardest part. At the hospital, everything was white, cold, silent, uncertain. Machines beeped softly. People moved quickly. Faces carried worry. She found her father lying on the bed, still, fragile. Not the strong man she remembered. Not the one who used to carry everything without complaint. Now, he looked small. Vulnerable. Human. Lena sat beside him. Her hands trembled. Tears came without control. All the calm she had cultivated felt like it shattered. The doctor spoke. Words like critical, unstable. We will try. Nothing certain. Nothing guaranteed. That night, Lena sat alone in the hospital hallway. Her mind was loud again. But this time, it wasn't just thoughts. It was fear. Deep fear. The kind that doesn't ask permission. The kind that doesn't wait for you to be ready. She closed her eyes. But instead of peace, there was chaos. Images, memories, regret. I should have called more. I should have spent more time. What if I lose him? The mind did what it always does. It went to the past. It went to the future. Anywhere. But here, for a moment, Lena felt something break inside her. All those teachings, all that awareness. What was the point, if pain could still hit this hard? And then, a memory surfaced. The monk's voice. You were trying to hold life in a shape that does not stay. Her breath caught. Because this was life. Unpredictable, uncontrollable, uncertain. She opened her eyes slowly. Nothing had changed outside. Her father was still in danger. The situation was still painful. The fear was still there, but something small, very small, shifted inside her. Instead of pushing the fear away, she felt it fully. Without resistance, without trying to escape. Her chest hurt. Her throat tightened. Tears fell, and she stayed. For the first time, she was not running from pain. She was sitting with it. Minutes passed, then more. The fear didn't disappear, but it softened, not because the situation changed, but because she stopped fighting what was already there. She remembered the monk again. Not everything that falls apart is a tragedy. Her mind resisted. No, this is a tragedy. This is loss. This is pain. But another voice appeared. Quieter. More grounded. This is life. Not fair, not controlled, not predictable. Just life. She looked at her hands, still shaking, still human. And something deeper began to emerge. Not strength, not control. Acceptance. Not the kind that says this is okay, but the kind that says, this is what is happening. There was no peace in the situation, but there was less resistance, and in that, there was space. Hours later, she returned to her father's room. She sat beside him. This time, she didn't try to fix anything, didn't try to control anything, didn't try to force hope. She simply held his hand. His breathing was slow. Fragile. Uncertain. Tears came again, but softer. And in that moment, she realized something she had never understood before. Love is not about control. It is about presence. She had spent years trying to become enough. To prove her worth. To secure her life. But sitting there, holding her father's hand, none of that mattered. Only this mattered. Being there. Fully. No past. No future. Just now. Time passed slowly. At some point, her father's fingers moved slightly. Her breath stopped. His eyes opened. Just a little. Weak. But present. He looked at her. And in that fragile moment, he smiled. No words. No explanation. Just a smile. And Lena understood something beyond thinking. Life is not something you control. It is something you meet. And sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is simply stay. That night changed her, not because everything became okay, but because she saw clearly. You cannot avoid pain. You cannot control life. You cannot hold everything together, but you can choose not to abandon yourself when everything feels like it's falling apart. Days later, her father slowly stabilized, not fully recovered, but no longer critical. Lena sat outside the hospital. One morning. The sun rose quietly. The world continued. And for the first time, she did not ask, why is this happening? She simply breathed, because now she knew. Peace is not the absence of pain. It is the absence of resistance. And that changed everything. In the days that followed, Lena stopped trying to return to her normal life, because she realized that life no longer fit. The version of her that used to rush, to chase, to control, was still there, but it no longer led. Her father remained in the hospital for a while. Recovery was slow. Uncertain. Some days were better. Some days were not. Before, this would have broken her. The unpredictability, the waiting, the not knowing. But now, she moved differently. She still felt fear, still felt worrying, still had moments where her chest tightened and her mind raced, but she no longer believed those moments were wrong. She sat with her father often. Sometimes they talked. Sometimes they did in single quotes. Sometimes they just sat in silence, and strangely, those silent moments felt the most full. One afternoon, while sunlight filtered softly through the hospital window, her father spoke. His voice was weak, but clear. You've changed, he said. Lena looked at him. I think I had too, she replied. He smiled faintly. You used to carry everything, he said, as if the world would fall apart if you didn't. Lena let out a quiet breath. I thought that's what I was supposed to do. Her father shook his head. Slightly. No, he said. That's what you were taught to believe. A long silence followed. Not uncomfortable. Just real. Then he added, life doesn't need you to carry it. That sentence stayed with her, because for so long, she had lived as if everything depended on her effort, her control, her perfection, her strength. But sitting there, she saw clearly, life had always been moving, with or without her control. The sun still rose, the seasons still changed, people still came and went, and she had simply been trying to hold something that was never meant to be held. That evening, Lena walked outside the hospital alone. The sky was painted in soft orange and fading blue. The air was quiet. She stood there for a long time. Not thinking. Not chasing. Not fixing. Just standing. And for the first time, she felt something she had been searching for all along. Not happiness. Not excitement. Not success. Peace. Not the kind that comes from everything being perfect, but the kind that comes when you stop needing everything to be perfect. Her mind still spoke, still brought up worries, still tried to plan and control. But now, she smiled at it, because she knew she didn't have to follow every thought. Days later, her father was finally discharged, still weak, still recovering, but alive. Lena brought him home. The apartment felt different now. Slower. Quieter. More alive. She cooked simple meals. She helped him walk. She listened more, spoke less. And in those ordinary moments, she found something extraordinary. Presence. Not something she created, but something she stopped leaving. One morning, as she sat by the window with a cup of tea, her phone buzzed. Messages, work updates, deadlines returning. The world was calling her back. She looked at the screen. Then, she placed the phone down. Not to avoid life, but to meet it differently. She took a breath. Slow. Deep. The same breath she had taken in the temple. The same breath she had taken in the hospital. And she realized something simple. Nothing had changed, and yet everything had changed, because she was no longer trying to outrun her life. She was living it. Later that day, she returned to the temple, not because she needed help, but because she wanted to say thank you. The monk was there, sweeping. As always, she smiled. You're still sweeping, she said. He smiled back. The leaves are still falling. She sat beside him. I think I understand now, she said. He looked at her gently. Understand what? She took a breath. That peace isn't something I find out there. She touched her chest lightly. It's something I return to here. The monk nodded. Double quotes. Yes, she continued. And life doesn't need to be controlled to be okay. He nodded again. And pain, she paused, isn't something to escape. The monk looked at her with quiet approval. It is something to understand, he said. They sat together in silence. Then Lena asked one last question. What if I forget again? The monk smiled. You will. She laughed softly. But each time you remember, he continued, you suffer less. A breeze moved through the courtyard. Leaves shifted. Light changed. Nothing stayed the same. And for the first time, she didn't need it to. As Lena walked away from the temple that day, the city welcomed her back once more. The noise, the movement, the unpredictability. But now, she walked differently. Not chasing, not resisting. Just present. And in that presence, she found something that had always been there. Not waiting at the end of success, not hidden in achievement, not given by others, but quietly, patiently, always available. Peace. The moment you stop chasing life is the moment life finally meets you.